Hello boys and girls, this is Mr. Zhou. Welcome back for another lesson of biology. Today we are going through lesson 50 of chapter 16, the brain. Before you start watching the video, remember to like and subscribe my channel and also share the video to your classmates. Let's start. Our central nervous system, the CNS, consists of the brain and the spinal cord. And the CNS is a control center of many different body activities. The main focus of this lesson is the brain. Since our CNS is important to control the body activity, it has to be well protected by the bones. For example, the cranium, which you can find in the skull, it protects the brain. This is the human brain during the surgery, and you can see the cranium is very, very thick. It helps to protect the brain. Other bones, such as the vertebral column, is important to protect the spinal cord. 脊髓. The cranium and the vertebral columns, they are the bones which helps to protect our brain and spinal cord from the mechanical damage, or you can say physical damage or injuries. Besides using bones for protection, there are also 3 layers of membranes in your brain and the spinal cord for the protection. This is an open brain surgery, and you can see the membrane on top of the brain. The last type of method to protect your brain is by the cerebrospinal fluid, 腦脊髓液. You can find this type of cerebrospinal fluid in the central canal of the brain and the spinal cord. If you hurt your head very badly and you also break your eardrum, you might have the leakage of cerebrospinal fluid from your ear. The cerebrospinal fluid, they provide nutrients and oxygen to the neurons, the nerve cells, and helps to remove waste from the CNS. It can also absorb shock from the physical injury or damage. Last but not least, the cerebrospinal fluid also provides certain type of mechanical support to the brain and the spinal cord to maintain their shape. Our brain consists of 3 big parts. The biggest part is called the cerebrum, 大腦. The second part is called the cerebellum, 小腦. And the last part is called the medulla oblongata, 鹽水. The cerebrum, it is the biggest part of the brain. The cerebrum can be divided into 2 halves. The left half controls the right side of the body, while for the right half, it controls the left side of the body. It's opposite. The cerebrum is highly folded. It helps to increase the surface area, which helps to pack more neurons in the limited space, so to have an efficient coordination. The outermost layer of the cerebrum is called the cerebral cortex, 大腦皮層. If you cut open the cerebrum, you can see a gray layer on the outermost surface. This gray layer, we call it the gray matter. It is gray in color and darker in color because it consists of the cell body of neurons. And since the cell body is actually the nucleus, it is having a high density. Therefore, the gray color comes from the cell body, the nucleus. In the inner layer, you can find the white matter, which is paler in color, less dark, and the gray matter. It consists of mainly the nerve fibers. The white color is mainly coming from the myelin sheath. Cerebrum is the site for intelligence and memories. And another important function of the cerebrum is to control the voluntary action, 隨意動作. That means the action which are under conscious control, 有意識嘅控制, or under your own will, 你自願嘅, such as speaking or writing. Cerebellum has the exact same distribution of gray matter and white matter as cerebrum. On the outer layer, there is the gray matter. For the inner layer, it is the white matter. The function of the cerebellum is to coordinate Chinese hip tilt, muscular movement, or you can say coordinate muscle contraction, which helps to maintain body balance. For the activity which are very complicated and hard to learn, such as the juggling of balls, swimming, cycling, these type of sports activity which requires body balancing and complicated skills, all these activities requires the action of cerebellum, which coordinates muscle contraction. The final structure in your brain is called the medulla oblongata. Your medulla oblongata continues with the spinal cord. They are connected. For the distribution of white matter and gray matter in the medulla oblongata, it is opposite to those in the cerebrum and cerebellum. In the outer layer, it is having white matter, while for the inner layer, it is having gray matter in the medulla oblongata. Your medulla oblongata helps to act as a reflex center for many reflex actions in the head region, such as coughing. When you swallow dust, your body immediately cough out the dust, helps to remove them. This action does not require you to think about it. It will be done by your body immediately. This is called reflex. Another example of reflex is the pupil constriction and dilation. When your photoreceptor in your eye detects strong sunlight, your pupil will constrict immediately to prevent the excessive amount of light going in. And when you are in a dark room, your pupil will dilate to allow more light to enter your eye for better vision. This pupil constriction and dilation is done without thinking about it. It will be done by your body immediately. This is also called a reflex. The examples shown here, they are the reflex action in the head region. Medulla oblongata not only acts as the reflex center in your head region, it also controls your involuntary actions, 不隨意動作. Involuntary actions, they are not under the control of your own will, such as when you are doing a marathon, the long run, your breathing rate and your heartbeat rate, they will increase automatically. This increase is controlled by the medulla oblongata. It helps to increase the supply of oxygen to your muscle cells during the marathon. Another example of involuntary actions is the peristalsis in your intestine. The table below shows you the distribution of gray matter and white matter in the 4 different parts in the CNS, in the cerebrum, cerebellum, medulla oblongata, and spinal cord. As you can see from the table, the distribution of gray matter and white matter is the same in the cerebrum and cerebellum, with the outer surface having the gray matter, inner surface having the white matter. While in the case of medulla oblongata and spinal cord, they have the same distribution, with the outer surface with white matter, inner surface with the gray matter. Why? This is because the medulla oblongata actually continues and connected to the spinal cord. Therefore, they have the same distribution. Please go to your textbook page 14 to finish the MCQ. That's it for the lesson about the brain. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.